I'm Christina. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator here at National Children's Museum. I'm working from home, just like hopefully everybody else is. And I wanted to give you a fun springtime experiment for all of you friends and families to do from your home on this first day of spring. So today we're going to be experimenting and planting with some dried beans or seeds. Dried beans can be anything from black beans or kidney beans. You can also do dried corn that you use for popcorn, dried garbanzo beans, peas, or even sunflowers. So we're going to take some of these and we're going to use some basic materials that hopefully we all have at home. But if not, we'll make some modifications and we'll get to work. So what you'll need is obviously beans. So any variety that works best for you. I give you some options at the top of the video. You'll need a container. It's like this plastic takeout container. You can use any plastic container that you have as long as it's a little bit taller, not shallow. Some potting soil if you have some. If you don't have some, you'll need some paper towels. And if you don't have a plastic container, you can also use a glass jar. This is a recycled jelly jar, or some paper or plastic cups. If you're using paper or plastic cups, please use 2, and I'll tell you why in a second. So in order to get started with the soil, it's the easiest part. What you'll need to do is make sure you have some fresh potting soil. Don't use any soil from outside, digging out of the dirt. It might not have safe things for you to eat or ingest, so I recommend getting some fresh potting soil from the store. And if you don't have any, I do because I'm a gardener, so I have lots of plants growing in my garden outside. But if you don't have any garden soil or potting soil, that's okay. Like I said, we'll get to another option. In the potting soil, what you'll do is you'll take your finger, a hole that's about as deep as your fingernail, so about as deep as that. And you'll probably want to put 2 or 3 holes. So I put 3 holes in my, I don't know if you can see that. And you're gonna want to take your beans. Kidney beans work the best in containers. So you're gonna want to take your kidney bean and put it in each of the holes. So I put in my dirt. And then cover them back up. So use your fingers to lightly cover them back up. And you want to take some water, have some water here, and just make sure it gets a little bit wet. If they come uncovered, like I had a friend over here get uncovered, that's okay. You can just cover it up and make sure your potting soil is moist, but not super damp, not too soggy, not very, very wet. And you're good to go. So that's method 1. Method 2 is using the jar, and you're going to take some paper towels, and I'm going to use the water that I had before, and you're going to wet half of the paper towel. So wet half of the paper towel, fold it in half, and then squeeze the paper towel out. Okay, so you want it to be wet pretty much throughout the paper towel. It's okay. I have a little bit of dirt on my hands, so that's why you see a little dirt. Do the same with probably one other paper towel. And then from there, you're going to want to take your seed. This time I'm going to take a sunflower seed, so I'm going to take some sunflower seeds. And you're just going to want to put it in the side. So if you can see what I'm doing here, I'm just putting some sunflower seeds in the wet paper towels. I put 3 again, and I'm going to take 1 more paper towel. So you're just going to need 3 little half sheets. Do the same wetting. So you're going to keep those a little bit damp so that they can germinate. Okay. The third option is to use a paper cup or a plastic cup. You're going to want to use 2 in one of the cups. Take a knife or a scissor. Have an adult do this if you are not old enough to be using these, and just strike some holes in. Just cut down and through. The holes let the water drain and not get caught in the cup. And that's why you have the second cup. So you have some holes at the bottom of your cup. And you're going to do the same thing. Wet the paper towels. 3 paper towels. Wet 2 at first. Take a set of beans. I'm going to take some split peas. You could also use black beans or corn. Drop a few in there. make sure they stay in the wet paper towel, and then take your third paper towel, cover those up, and then put your first group of paper towels into the second cup, and you're all set. Now you just wait. It should take about 7 to 10 days, maybe less, if you germinate the plants. Germinating means that they start to sprout, so green little wormy like plants will start coming out of the sides of the beans or peas or sunflower seeds. And you'll see little plants coming out. And then from there, with the sunflower seeds, you're gonna wanna transplant them, which means you're gonna wanna put them into a bigger pot of dirt so they can grow. With the peas, same thing. And like I said, the kidney beans can actually grow really well in a container, so they can stay in the plastic container that you grew them in. But if they're in the paper towels, the wet paper towels, you might want to put them into dirt. And when you move them, make sure the plants are about 6 inches tall. And we can revisit this in a later video. But in the meantime, I just wanted to give you something that you can do in your home with some of the ingredients that you might have in your stock to have fun on this first day of spring. Thanks, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'm happy to answer them. And yeah, we hope this works out for you all. Happy spring, everyone.